Envy is the enemy of the happy. Marcus Aurelius. Have you ever noticed someone in your life who seems just a little too interested in your setbacks? Maybe they're a coworker who smiles when you struggle, or a relative who can't seem to hide their passive-aggressive remarks about your success. On the surface, they're polite, but beneath it all, there's a tension, a quiet hostility. You can feel it. They say just enough to unsettle you. They offer fake compliments that sound like praise but leave a sting. You know they're jealous. But here's the real dilemma. You can't confront them. You don't want drama. You don't want to stoop to their level. You just want peace. And maybe secretly, to walk away from it all with your dignity and power intact. If that resonates with you, you're not alone. Jealousy is one of the most destructive forces in human relationships. It's subtle, it's sneaky, and worst of all, it often comes from the people closest to us, friends, co-workers, even family. But what if I told you that the ancient Stoic philosophers had already dealt with this centuries ago? What if there was a way to outsmart jealous people without confronting them? No shouting, no cold revenge, no toxic back and forths, just quiet strength. The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, weren't just wise men meditating in caves. They were warriors of the mind. They lived among emperors, tyrants, and traitors. They knew what it meant to be surrounded by envy, manipulation, and bitterness. And yet, they remained calm, unbothered, unshaken. So today, in this video, we're diving deep into 7 Stoic hacks that will help you do exactly what they did. Recognize jealousy early and rise above it with quiet mastery. These are not just philosophical ideas. These are real, actionable strategies rooted in timeless wisdom, designed to help you deal with jealous people without ever confronting them. Let's begin. To defeat jealousy, you first need to understand it. Let's start with this. Jealousy isn't about you. That's the first Stoic truth. When someone is jealous of you, whether it's your success, your peace of mind, your relationships, your looks, or your growth, it's not because you did something wrong. It's because they are at war with themselves. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus explained it this way: if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. But jealousy isn't always about provoking you. Sometimes it's just a projection, a mirror. The jealous person looks at you and sees something they feel they lack. Instead of being inspired by it, they feel attacked by it. Your peace, your strength, your happiness. They shine a light on their insecurities. In Stoicism, envy is understood not just as a negative emotion, but as a misjudgment of value. People become jealous because they've placed too much importance on things outside their control: wealth, beauty, power, popularity. They compare, they crave, and when they feel they're falling short, they lash out. Think of jealousy as a smoke signal. It doesn't reveal your fire, it reveals theirs. This is why the Stoics taught the concept of emotional detachment, not in the sense of being cold, but in the sense of being free. Free from needing praise, free from needing to prove yourself, free from letting other people's envy control your emotional world. Here's a truth many people never learn. The more you grow, the more jealousy you will attract. And that's not a problem, unless you react. So the real question is not, how do I stop people from being jealous of me? The real question is, how do I remain unmoved by their jealousy and still keep growing? This is where Stoicism shines. Jealousy is not a threat, it's a test. And every test has a solution. Let's begin exploring the 7 Stoic solutions. The hacks that will not only help you outsmart jealous people, but protect your peace, sharpen your emotional discipline, and build a kind of quiet power that speaks louder than words. 1. Master the art of silent strength. The first hack is simple, but it's also the most difficult. Don't react, stay silent. Jealous people crave attention. Their envy feeds on emotional responses: your frustration, your defensiveness, your attempts to explain or justify yourself, When you react, you validate their power. You enter their game. And the Stoics? They refused to play. Seneca said, "He who angers you conquers you." Let that sink in. The moment you allow someone to disturb your peace, especially someone driven by envy, they've won. Not because they're right, but because they've dragged you down into their storm. Imagine you're in a room full of people. One person starts whispering about you, planting doubts, subtly undermining you. What do? Most people will try to defend themselves. They'll speak louder, explain harder, or try to expose the jealous person. But the Stoic stays calm, watches, smiles, keeps building. Because silence, real composed silence, terrifies insecure people. It sends one powerful message: I'm not playing your game, I'm focused on my own. There's a story about a respected Roman general who was being slandered behind his back by a group of envious rivals. When asked if he would confront them, he simply said, "I am too busy doing my duty. Let them talk." That's Stoic silence. It's not passive, it's not weakness, it's strategic. And here's why it works. When you stay calm and quiet in the face of jealousy, two things happen. First, you maintain emotional leverage. Second, you expose their insecurity without saying a word. They want you to crack, to show that you're bothered, but when you don't, when you stay rooted, collected, peaceful, you reflect their instability back to them. In modern terms, this might look like not replying to petty comments online, not correcting a jealous coworker who takes credit, not reacting to family members who always seem to one-up you. Instead, you channel your energy into your craft, your vision, your integrity. As the Stoics would say, don't shout your value. Demonstrate it quietly. Don't seek revenge. Become undeniable. This isn't easy, especially when jealousy is unfair or hurtful. But the first Stoic hack to outsmart jealousy is to practice silent strength, the kind that doesn't flinch, doesn't bite back, and doesn't need to be loud to be powerful. You are not weak for ignoring jealous people. You are wise, and that wisdom makes you untouchable. 2. Stop explaining yourself. There's something deeply human about the need to explain ourselves. We want to be understood. We want people to know our intentions are good. And when someone is jealous of us, misjudging, gossiping, twisting our words, our instinct is to clarify, to defend, to correct their misunderstanding. But the Stoics would ask, why are you wasting your time explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you? Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and Stoic thinker, said, "Never waste time arguing what a good man should be one." Let that sink in. If someone is already jealous of you, no amount of explanation will heal their envy. In fact, it might only make it worse. Why? Because explaining validates them. It shows them they've gotten under your skin. It says, "You matter so much to me that I have to convince you I'm not who you think I am." And to the jealous mind, that's a victory. But here's the Stoic alternative. Don't explain, just embody. Let your actions, your results, your consistency, your peace, do the speaking for you. This isn't about arrogance or ignoring constructive criticism. This is about recognizing when someone's energy is not coming from truth-seeking, but from insecurity. Jealous people don't want the truth. They want control. They want to reduce you to their level, make you doubt yourself, draw you into their chaos. By explaining, you enter their battlefield. By staying silent and focused, you stay on higher ground. Let's consider a real-world example. Imagine you've been promoted at work. A colleague who once smiled in your face now makes little digs. Must be nice to have friends in high places. Some people get all the luck. You feel the urge to explain, "Actually, I've worked for years for this. I stayed late. I sacrificed weekends." But pause. Ask yourself, will this explanation change their mindset or feed their envy? The Stoic move here is subtle, but powerful. Instead of defending your position, you say little and continue to deliver excellence, consistently, quietly, Because what threatens jealous people the most is not your words. It's your calm persistence, your steady rise, your ability to ignore their games and stay focused on your mission. The moment you stop explaining, you reclaim your energy, you create mystery, you increase your perceived strength. You also make it clear that their opinions do not shape your reality. This is how the Stoics operated in ancient Rome, surrounded by politics, power plays, and envy. They let their lives speak louder than their mouths. So next time you feel that urge to justify yourself to someone who clearly doesn't wish you well, pause, breathe, let it go. You are not here to prove yourself to the jealous. You are here to become so unshakable that their envy collapses under its own weight. 3. Develop unshakable self-worth. Let's go deeper now, into the internal world of self-worth. This Stoic hack is foundational because jealous people feed on one thing more than anything else: your insecurity. If you don't know your own worth, you'll constantly try to earn it from others. And the jealous people in your life will sense this. They'll smell the weakness, and they'll exploit it. But when you are grounded in self-worth, when you know, without needing external proof, that you are living with intention and virtue, jealousy loses its grip. In Stoicism, self-worth is not based on beauty, wealth, status, or praise. It is based on virtue, on who you are when no one is watching, on your choices, your discipline, your values. Seneca said, "The greatest wealth is a poverty of desires." He meant that when you stop chasing what the world tells you to value and instead live by your own internal code, you become rich in spirit, whole, immune. So how do you build that kind of self-worth? Through daily practice. The Stoics believed in the power of daily journaling, not as a productivity hack, but as a tool for self-honesty. Each night, Marcus Aurelius would reflect in his journal. He'd ask himself, "Where did I act from fear today? What did I allow to disturb my peace? What can I do better tomorrow?" That is how you build unshakable self-worth, not by waiting for people to approve of you, but by becoming your own evaluator. Here's a practical Stoic exercise you can try: nightly inventory. Before bed, take 5 minutes. Ask yourself, 1. Did I act according to my values today? 2. Did I let anyone's envy or negativity change who I am? 3. What would the Stoics advise me to improve? Write it down, no judgment, just reflection. Over time, you begin to feel a shift. Your center of gravity moves inward. You stop being tossed around by others' opinions. You become solid, rooted. Jealous people may still come. They may whisper, criticize, doubt you, but you won't flinch because you've already faced yourself and found peace. There's another layer to this. Most people are so hungry for praise, they'll compromise their character to get it. But when you no longer need praise, when you prefer truth over validation, you become deeply powerful. Imagine 2 people walk into a room. One is eager to be liked. The other is grounded, quiet, and content. The first chases approval. The second radiates it. Jealous people target the first, but they can't touch the second. Be the second. Build your worth on the timeless, on virtue, on character, and you'll outgrow every petty, envious attempt to pull you down. 4. Set invisible boundaries. This next hack is subtle, but essential. It's called invisible boundaries. In a world obsessed with confrontation and calling people out, Stoicism offers a different strategy. Withdraw quietly, limit access, guard your energy, without ever creating conflict. The Stoics called this the inner citadel, your mental fortress, the part of your soul that no one can invade without your permission. You don't have to announce your boundaries. You don't have to make a dramatic exit. You simply pull back. Here's what invisible boundaries look like in real life. You stop telling jealous coworkers about your wins. You don't share emotional updates with envious relatives. You keep conversations light, neutral, and surface level. You redirect gossip. You avoid toxic comparison games. You remain kind but distant. The jealous person might not even notice when at first, but they'll feel it. They'll sense that their access to your inner world is slowly vanishing. And that's exactly the goal, because the truth is, you don't owe your energy to everyone who demands it. Not everyone deserves access to your emotions, your dreams, your spirit. One of the most powerful moves a Stoic can make is to retreat inward, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Let's look at an example. You're at a family gathering. A sibling or cousin who's always been competitive starts making comments. "Wow, must be nice to travel all the time." Or, "Some of us actually have to work." You smile. You don't react. You don't argue. You steer the conversation to neutral topics. You avoid one-on-one time. You stay pleasant but brief. Later, when they message you about a group trip or party, you delay responding. You politely decline. You don't engage deeply anymore. This is a boundary, silent, invisible, powerful, and it does something profound. It trains the jealous person to recognize that their energy won't be rewarded. Over time, they either change or drift away. The Stoics would say, "Don't let your fire be consumed by those who carry smoke. You have a mission, a path, a peace that must be protected. So don't explain, don't announce, just set your boundary and keep walking." 5. Use envy as feedback, not a threat. Here's a truth that might surprise you. Jealousy is not always about them. Sometimes it reveals something about you. Now wait, this isn't about blame or self-shaming. It's about power. The Stoics taught that every external reaction is an opportunity to go inward, and when someone is jealous of you, that too can be feedback. Here's what Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations. "If someone does wrong, it is because they believe it right. If you suffer, examine yourself, not to take blame, but to reclaim control." So what does this mean in the context of envy? Let's say someone criticizes you out of jealousy. They mock your success. They downplay your achievements. They make passive-aggressive comments. Instead of taking it personally, the Stoic approach is to pause and ask, "Why did that trigger me? Is there some part of me still seeking their approval? Is my peace too dependent on others liking me?" In this way, the jealous person becomes a mirror, not a threat. They reflect back to you the work still to be done within. Their envy becomes your teacher. Let's take an example. Suppose you start a new business, and an old friend starts acting distant, even dismissive. You sense jealousy, and part of you feels hurt. Maybe you expected them to be proud of you. That feeling is worth exploring. What did you hope to get from their approval? Why? And what happens if you let go of that need? The Stoics believed that freedom comes when you no longer need external validation to feel whole. So the next time someone's jealousy shakes you, don't just push it away. Sit with it. Ask what internal lesson it's offering. Maybe you'll discover you've been dimming your light to keep others comfortable. Or maybe you'll realize you've been performing success rather than living it authentically. This is a hidden benefit of jealousy. It reveals where we are still vulnerable and gives us the chance to seal the cracks. Remember, the goal isn't to become cold or closed off. The goal is to become so internally clear that no one else's envy can distort your self-view. So the next time someone resents you for your joy, growth, or evolution, don't get defensive. Get curious. Use their jealousy as feedback, not as a weapon. That's how Stoics turn even envy into fuel. 6. Practice internal apatheia. Now we come to one of the most misunderstood and most powerful Stoic principles, apatheia. Not to be confused with apathy or indifference, apatheia is the calm, centered stillness that comes from emotional mastery. It is the Stoics' inner fortress. Epictetus described it as freedom from being disturbed by passion. Jealousy, resentment, praise, criticism, none of it shakes you. You remain inwardly undisturbed, rooted in what you can control. Your thoughts, your choices, your virtues. Think of it this way. The jealous people in your life thrive on reaction. They want to provoke you, get you flustered, stir the pot. When you don't react, when you remain composed, You break the game. You step out of the drama and into sovereignty. Here's a real-world scenario. You're in a meeting. Someone makes a sly remark. "Oh, I guess we all know who the favorite is." A few people chuckle. The energy in the room shifts. All eyes are on you. Now you have a choice. You can bite back, get defensive, try to explain yourself, or you can breathe, hold your posture, say nothing, or simply smile and let the moment pass. That is apatheia in action. It's not weakness, it's not passivity, it's power. Because it means your peace is not for sale. Your energy is not up for grabs. You are not available for every emotional tug of war. The Stoics practiced this every day. They trained themselves to let go of what wasn't theirs to carry. Other people's opinions, gossip, judgments, and so can you. Here's how to build apatheia in your daily life. 1. Morning mental rehearsal. Each morning, visualize possible disruptions, jealousy, criticism, slights. Prepare your response ahead of time. Calm, silence, grace. This Stoic exercise is called premeditatio malorum, preparation for challenges. 2. Micro moments of pause. When triggered, insert a breath before speaking. One breath buys clarity. Ask, is this in my control? If not, why give it power? 3. Withdraw mentally, without detaching emotionally. You can love people without letting them sway your core. Observe, don't absorb. Imagine your mind like a still lake. The jealous throw stones, hoping for ripples. Your practice is to let those stones sink without disturbing the water. This doesn't mean you become robotic or emotionless. It means your emotions become intentional, not reactive. That's apatheia. It's not shutting down. It's showing up from a place of grounded maturity. The jealous will notice. They'll wonder why they can't shake you, why their comments no longer land, why their drama meets only your calm. That's when you've won, not by beating them, but by mastering yourself. 7. Respond with quiet compassion. This final Stoic hack might seem counterintuitive, but it is perhaps the most disarming, powerful strategy of all. Respond with quiet compassion. Now let's be clear, this is not about excusing toxic behavior. It's not about keeping jealous people close. It's about understanding why they act the way they do and choosing to respond from strength, not ego. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, envious, and unsocial. But they are like this because they do not know good from evil." In other words, they are sick, not evil. Jealousy is a form of emotional poverty. It comes from lack of self-worth, direction, joy. When you see it for what it is, you stop taking it personally. And once you stop taking it personally, you gain the freedom to respond with empathy. Sometimes that means saying nothing. Sometimes it means walking away. And sometimes it means offering quiet kindness, even when it's undeserved. Because here's the paradox. Nothing confuses and dissolves jealousy faster than unexpected grace. Imagine this. You know someone's envious of you. They've spread rumors, made cold remarks, tried to undermine you. And one day, you compliment them, genuinely. Or you help them in a moment of need. Or you simply refuse to return their bitterness. You don't do this to be superior. You do it because you've elevated your response above theirs. This is not passivity. This is moral clarity. You are showing them, I don't live in your emotional world. I've outgrown it. Seneca said, "It is the power of a great soul to treat the small with greatness." That is what Stoicism calls us to. Not just inner peace, but outward nobility. Of course, this doesn't mean tolerating abuse. If someone is toxic, you leave. You protect your peace. But you do it without hatred, without revenge, without drama. Because the final form of strength is compassion without attachment. So let's bring it all together. We began with a simple truth. You don't have to confront jealous people. You don't have to argue. You don't have to lower yourself to their level. You just have to rise above, with wisdom, strength, and discipline. The Stoics gave us the blueprint, and now you have it too. Let's recap the 7 Stoic hacks to outsmart jealousy. 1. Master the art of silent strength. Don't react, observe. Let your calm be your weapon. 2. Stop explaining yourself. Prove nothing. Live your truth. Let your life speak. 3. Develop unshakable self-worth. Build value from within. Measure yourself by virtue, not validation. 4. Set invisible boundaries. Withdraw without confrontation. Guard your peace in silence. 5. Use envy as feedback, not a threat. Let jealousy reveal where you're still vulnerable and grow from it. 6. Practice internal apatheia. Become emotionally immune. Stay composed no matter the storm. 7. Respond with quiet compassion. Leave people better than you found them, even if they envy you. Now ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be in the face of envy? Reactive, defensive, exhausted, or calm, strategic, untouchable? The world is loud, emotional, hungry for attention. But the Stoic is rare. The Stoic is different. They don't fight battles that don't matter. They don't chase approval. They don't crumble when people gossip. They observe. They endure. They rise. Quietly. That can be you. So the next time someone throws jealousy your way, smile. Say nothing. Keep building. And remember, you are not here to play small for the comfort of others. You are here to live with depth, power, and peace. The Stoics weren't just philosophers, they were emotional warriors. And so are you. If you found peace or strength in this message, consider subscribing. Not for hype, but for harmony. Not for views, but for virtue. Not for noise, but for transformation. And I'll leave you with this final quote from Epictetus. A wise man is indifferent to praise and blame. Be that wise person, and walk forward, quietly powerful and completely free.